What's up, everyone? How we doing? Hey, PK. How you doing, mate? Great to have you here, PK. We got a short trade showing up on SPX at the moment. Very interesting. How you doing, PK? Hazza FX, how you doing, mate? Great to see you. Hey, Josh. Morning, mate. How are you? How's Texas this morning, Josh? Hey, Martin. Good to see you here, mate. Thanks for joining. Welcome. All right. Let's take a look at these markets, huh? Hey, Tommy. How you doing, mate? Hello. 37. We lost our 80 degrees. That's a big change, mate. I got orders on SPX 1 hour short. Okay. Let's take a look. 1 hour short position on S&P 500, huh? Yeah, from here. Something like that, or something like this, I'm guessing. One of those two. Looks pretty reasonable. Reacted quite well to that level before. Bearish engulfing previously. Pretty decent. I mean, good chance that it does react to the downside from there. We just have to be really mindful of what's going on from a macroeconomic perspective for S&P 500. You know, it could absolutely just rip to the upside if just like everything kind of macro that's going on right now just fizzles out all of a sudden. Then you know, it could just rip to the upside, but you know, it's a reasonable short. It's worked out a few times here. You can see how well this level has reacted in the past. Right here, for example, it's reacted quite well to this zone. So yeah, 43.75 in general has been a pretty meaningful level, and you can see we've had that bounce of 43.75. We had this wick right through 43.75 before. So there is the chance that we do actually go back down and we go back to this level here, back where that previous, you know, like this previous candle was, this really impulsive kind of candle. So there is a chance we get back down there. I'm just taking a look at BTC at the moment. What is this level? 47,500 acting as support at the moment. So bulls holding on to 47,500 right now. Obviously, you know, for the bulls, we really need to take 43,850 again, or 43,750, sorry. The bulls really need to retake that level. We need to see a rally up here, retake that level for a continuation onto the upside. Hey Steve, also caught wick entries on XAUUSD. XAUUSD, let's take a look at that, huh? XAUUSD, g'day Steve, hope you're well, buddy. 1 hour, cool. Oh, right here. Nice, very nice. Good reaction to this level. Very nice reaction to this level. Like, you don't get much better than that, right? Very nice reaction to the level. I'm guessing you're in something like that. Perhaps? Something like this? Should have taken TP1 already. Nice. 1 hour candle for you, Hazza. Very good. Well done. Alright, cool. Let's take a look at the VIX and see what's happening here on the VIX. Yep, popping to the upside. Very interesting here. We're back at that level that we rejected previously. Actually, this VIX trade was actually really nice. Look at how the algorithm showed us this VIX position. before we were even there, really. You know, we're up here, I think, when it showed us this VIX position. So a really nice trade. You know, again, if you're not trading VIX, you could have probably traded this on SPX, or it would have given you a good understanding of what was probably to come on SPX. Because, you know, if we see that VIX pop to the upside like that, at the same time, we're going to see this bearishness in SPX. Right? That's just, they just go hand in hand with each other at the end of the day. Could see a bit more of a bounce here on BTC. Maybe we start forming like a range in here, something like that, and then see what happens from there. Obviously, you know, if we dump through here, then next level on the cards is 31,250 is that next level that we are thinking about, and then after that 25k. So if this breaks, if the bulls fail to hold on to 37,500, then that's where we're looking next. 31,250 and 25k subsequently after that. If we do break down here, if we break down here, that's our level. What's this here? This is that's really our next level of importance here, really, down here somewhere. So we'll see what happens here on BTC, but while the bulls hold on to this, we're looking at most likely some sort of range here, unless the bulls can retake this level here, and then 50k is our next zone that we care about. Imagine a 25k BTC lol, I'd be loading up. Yeah, I mean, you could place some stink bids here in the extension zone. You know, you could place some bids down here. Something like that there. You could place that type of position. Maybe in an unleveraged spot position, this might be a good area to be placing, you know, limit orders for spot trades. Yeah, potentially. If you're just going to build your long-term BTC holdings. But the local up is slowly gaining strength on BTC. Well, it gained strength here because we had this period of time here where it popped to the upside. Now, we are respecting this level here, like I said. If this level fails, the local turns back into a downtrend PK for sure. If this level here fails. All right. So if that fails here, very likely local turns back into a downtrend, and then we're thinking about this level here. If that doesn't fail and we do see a bounce here, very likely the local pushes up more into here, kind of like what it did back there, and then we end up seeing a sideways ranging market. All right, and this probably goes sideways. All right, so this level here is very important to see what happens here for the local. But remember, local can cross multiple times. Oh yeah, here we go. Yeah, they were on for some reason. Yeah, you're right. I was thinking that. I was like, what? What's going on here? But yeah, there we go. Normal candles now. Perfect. Thanks for the point out, Hazza. I was thinking that's strange. These are very strange candles that I'm looking at here. Thank you. Yes. Yeah, got it. Perfect. Perfect. Looks like a repeat of the sideways we saw a week back. Something like that. Yeah, it could be something like this up here. If we hold that, then yeah, it could be something similar to this happening again over here. Just like this, you know, if we see this type of price action form through there, or even on a shorter period like that there, you know, if we see that likely same thing kind of happens there. If we see this here, even could be one of the two. Could be just like this here, just basically getting printed there again, potentially. Or like I said, if the bulls can't hold on to that, then we're looking for this level here. Looking to see what happens down there. All right, cool. Let's take a look at Sonar and see what's happening. Japanese 225, short positions on there. Okay, cool. Pound Singapore dollar. Okay, that's disappeared now. Let's look at Chinese 50 here. This looks like a pretty reasonable position to me. Look at how much we dumped out of this level previously. There's plenty of selling pressure at this level, right? Look at this. So let's just draw a box around here for a minute and just think about what's going on here. So we've got an area here that has acted as a support previously. We can see the way that the candlesticks have acted around this. It acted as a resistance previously back here. We could even probably continue extending this and continue seeing level confluence here just across the board. Look at how many times this has really been respected by the market. This zone here, okay? You could almost say that there as well. You could say that there. You could say that there. You could say that there. That there. That there. All right. So think about all the times this has been respected by this market in the past. Obviously, this is an important level to this market, and it would make absolute sense that it's an important level because it's 15,000. All right. Very round number. Key cycle. Very round number. Key psychological level here on Chinese 50. So when this market moves back up here, if this market moves back up here, great shorting opportunity from this level, in my opinion, okay? We've got a key psychological level. It's been respected many times in the past by the market, and you can see how hard we dumped out of that level. Now for the consolidation, if we pop to the upside back into here, very, very likely we do catch a TP1 and 2 at least in this case, all right? And if we don't, we've still got a good opportunity to get out of break even, right? We've got a great opportunity that if we do push through there, we get out of break even in some capacity here, okay? So I really like the look of this trade. This price action looks really good, all right? This trade in general looks really nice. 131% downtrend looks good to me, all right? Looks good to me. US 30, you know, if I'm looking at an equity short position here, I've got US 30, I've got Chinese 50, both very similar in terms of the level that is being shorted here. But this Chinese 50 trade, like this price action in particular, like right around here, it just looks particularly bearish, especially with this massive like almost gap candle to the downside. Right, so this gets filled up basically and then continue on following after that candle that just happened there. Sorry, I meant RR level. I'm not sure the market. XAU, oh, on BTC we're talking. Yep, XAU USD 1 day or 4 hour sonar, which do you prefer? Let's take a look. Okay, 1 day sonar trade on XAU USD here. So let me just mark it out so I can see what it is when I change to that. I like the idea of the 4 hour trade. I like the idea of the 4 hour trade, I think. It just has a really reasonable TP1 and 2 here. Consolidation here, dump back into the level, pop back up, grab the middle of this consolidation here. And then, you know, we also have this opportunity to get back up into this level here, which if we just zoom out a little bit, which is really quite reasonable, and it's not even at the TP1 and 2 of this 1 day position. Now, obviously 1 day position gives you a lot more room for the downside on this particular market. But in general, you know, we've kind of, the bet is really that we've started a new uptrend, given that we've got such a strong uptrend forming here on the RTD. So the bet is really like that this brand new uptrend is just going to continue to the upside. A bit of a consolidation here. If we broke to the downside, punch it into support, then continue on up again, that would be like really normal kind of price action that you would see in this type of scenario. But yeah, you can see really like even here, like look at all of these wicks that are coming through here. See the bulls really like just pushing this market up, 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 up again and again and again. There's the potential that these bulls get stopped out through here and the market does this little move where it kind of like all of these people that have been long here get stopped out, comes down, punches them into support, and then continues on to the upside like that, right? So I don't mind the 4-hour trade. I think it's I think for the bet that this is a new uptrend, I think it's a reasonable position for that bet. And it's really reasonable TPs, which I really like about this, right? I really like that these are a very reasonable TPs. All right, lots of equity index shorts. Lots of index shorts showing up here, right? USD Mexican peso, we're popping to the downside here on this particular market. This isn't probably a trade I would take. This seems a little bit unreasonable. Let me just zoom out a little bit more. We'd really have to crush through this, but it's not as unreasonable as what I first thought. This is back in the COVID period. Look at this rip to the upside. Just people exiting Mexican pesos and moving into US dollars during the COVID period of time. Just really nuts. Really, really crazy. Now, the interesting thing about this is when I would think about this trade, I would think about, you know, potentially seeing US dollar strength against Mexican peso, given, you know, we're seeing so much weakness in equity markets and risk on markets. I would have suspected to see US dollar strength, but, you know, I guess this is one of those situations where it's like the tech is telling me one thing, but my brain would tell me something else. And it's like, sometimes you got to trust the tech, like, because we're in a downtrend, really. You know, this has been just really pushing to the downside after this blow off top. It really almost looks like a shit coin, doesn't it? You know, pump to the upside, parabolic move, complete blow off top out of the extension zone, straight to the downside. You know, that's a shit coin move if I've ever seen one. This blow off top situation. So I probably wouldn't be taking this trade. I just don't really have any, it hasn't proven to me that the bears are fully in control of this level just yet. Probably like more reasonably, I'd take probably something like that there, I would say. You know, if we regain that level right there, punch it into here and then take that to the downside, that seems a bit more reasonable to me, because that would form high, lower high, lower high, lower high. So yeah, that's where I'd probably be looking for a trade, somewhere around there, I think. And that coincides with this neutral level there, something like that. So yeah, pound US dollar. Let's take a look at pound US dollar. Immediately I kind of go, all right, RTD not that great. Can I find better exposure on pound and US dollar somewhere else? Singapore 30 in an uptrend at the moment, but pushing into the level right now. Obviously not a trade to take at this moment right now. And we also have a really weak RTD. This is basically the Singapore 30 moving potentially into a downtrend in line with the other global equities markets. Okay, so here's the potential pound exposure. Little bit better RTD. We do have this reaction out of the resistance level right now, but overall I like the idea of this. If we do push down into there like that, for that move back into the bottom of this range right here, because you can see how the market has kind of held that up already. So I do like this idea. If we push down like into here for just the pop into TP1 and 2, I think that can happen. And you know, we do have a good opportunity given this structure right here, that if we do push through, we could get back out at break even. Yeah, pound CAD instead of pound USD, I'm thinking, yeah. I think the same, Tom, pound CAD instead of pound USD for sure. Let's get a message on the global chat. Pretty bad percentage, 3 out of 10. Probably took 10 trades all at the same time and Scott stopped out on them, most likely. NASDAQ 100 in that downtrend as well. You know, along with US 30, along with S&P 500, NASDAQ 100 is not going to be any different at all. Already caught entries on XAGUSD at the moment. Yep, so we've got the entries here on XAGUSD in that subsequent candle after the Sonar trade first showed up, and now punched into TP1 and 2 already. So if you were in this trade, well done. You probably should have caught an entry right there. Now you'd be shifting your stop loss up to break even here, and you'd be running a risk-free trade up to TP3. See what happens from there. Let's look hopefully to break this previous high so you can catch a TP3 here. All right, any trades you guys are taking a look at the moment? Euro 50, same PA as S&P 500. Let's have a look. Yeah, really quite similar. I mean, you can just see how heavily correlated these markets are in general. Yeah, you really can see how heavily correlated these markets are. You can see, obviously, you know, if you look through here, you can see the way the market has kind of acted in this level, in this zone before. See the way that this market has acted in this zone before, right? So it looks pretty reasonable that a trade from here could be on the cards. Again, S&P 500, if that pushes to the upside here, this is absolutely pushing to the upside as well. Okay, so if you like the idea of equity shorts at the moment, then this is probably the market you'd take it on, Euro 50 over, say, S&P 500. All right, in my opinion. But don't get it wrong, don't get it mixed up that they're different trades. They're the same trade at the end of the day. Andres Jamalio did not take 10 trades at the same time. Seems like the 1 hour crypto sonar is not very accurate. I'd love to know what time frame you've taken these 1 hour crypto trades over, these 10 crypto trades. I'd love to know that. Andres, let me know. Is it just in recent periods of time? Are they more or less around the same type of price action that you've seen? We can take a look at them. Let's have a look. Throw them in the chat and we'll take a look at a couple, huh? All right. 1 day sonar. Yeah. These look very similar, Tom. Euro 50 and SP 500. Probably maybe take Euro 50, I'd say, over SP 500 short. recently with this bearish market. Yeah, let's have a look at the trades, Andres. We can have a look at them if you would like. Let me know. Reacting well to this level here at 37,500 for BTC at the moment, which is good. Let's take a look at the lower time frames. 1 minute, 15 minute. Let's take a look there. Same thought on Euro 50. Same thought here, Euro 50. Yeah, I think Euro 50 as well. 15 minute pushing into the resistance area here. You can see obviously we are being rejected at the resistance level right now on BTC. So we'll see what happens here. Can the bulls push us more to the upside, or are we going to get rejected out of here to the downside? I'm wondering if this was actually an extension trade showing up on the 15-minute time frame at some stage. We do have a local uptrend, so it's unlikely, but it might have been showing up maybe when we were down here. It might have been showing up as an extension trade. I'm not sure 100% if it was, but we are being rejected at the resistance level right now, which, you know, you would tend to expect from a market that has acted so bearish around that level previously. You can see that market, the way that it acted there previously. You know, plenty of selling pressure in at that level. Tom, would you know of any particular Indian broker that can be bridged into BFT? I don't know any Indian brokers, sorry, PK. I don't know of any Indian brokers at all, unfortunately, mate. I mean, I'm sure you can use IC Markets, perhaps, in India. The only experience that I have, the brokers that I've used before are IC Markets, Oanda, and Simple FX. So that's kind of why these are the recommendations that we have for which brokers to go with, because those are the ones that we've had experience with, you know, me and Asgar, and these are just the ones that we know are legit, right? So Simple FX, I'm sure you can probably use in India. But if you're looking to trade specifically Indian stocks, sorry, mate, I'm really not sure. XMR USDT. Crypto on. Let's just turn everything on. Okay, so we've got a XMR USDT yesterday at 6 p.m. 6 p.m. is, I don't know what time zone you're in, Andres, so I don't know what 6 p.m. is, but the one that I'm assuming it is this trade here 8 hours ago. This is just in the zone already. Yeah, I'm not sure if Simple FX has Indian stocks either. So this is not really tradable right here. This is like in the zone right now. You can see when this showed up, it's already on this zone already, okay? And then obviously it pushed to the upside. So this is not a market. This is not where you should have been placing a trade, okay? You know, anyone would tell you there, anyone would be able to tell you here that this is not a reasonable trade to place because the price is already in that zone. XMR USD on the 1 hour time frame 15 hours ago, basically the same trade as here, I would probably say. Uh, 15 hours ago, maybe it's this one here, I'm not sure. One example of a losing trade though. It's a good opportunity to get out at break even, I would say, on this one. Pushed through to the upside, had a bit of a consolidation here inside the zone overall. 1, 2, 3, 4 candles inside the level here. So good opportunity to get out at break even. But yeah, trades fail, trades lose. You're going to have losing trades, Andrews. What were the other positions? You're going to have losing trades, Andrews. I'm very sorry to say, mate. You're going to have losing trades. Especially during times of volatility, you're going to have losing trades and on lower time frames. So, yeah. You're absolutely going to have losing trades, mate. And that's just part of the game. That's part of trading. Having losing positions. All right, what else are we looking at here? Let's take a look at S&P 500. Anyone got any other trades they're looking at the moment? Any other comparisons they are looking at right now? What are we looking at here? Let's look at the 1 day on S&P 500. So the way I'm seeing this right now at the moment is we're punching into this resistance level here. I could see the VIX contract back here down to at least 25. And that's going to show us some strength on the S&P 500. We might even move through this level on the S&P 500. Okay, we could move through this level if the VIX does move all the way back down to 25. Now, obviously, there's every chance that we do see a VIX just continue onto the upside. But for me right now, I could probably see contracting VIX back into 25, at least back to 25. And that might lead to a push through this level on S&P 500, maybe even up into here somewhere, okay? So for me, this is probably not a trade I'd be taking. I wouldn't be taking this trade. I wouldn't take this trade on SPX right now, okay? Especially on the 1 day time frame. I probably wouldn't be taking this. Yes, it looks bearish for sure. I can just see, you know, we could see a bit of downside here in the VIX. And then after that, like really, we don't get like beyond this level here in the VIX, beyond that area right there, unless it's a massive event, unless it's something really big like that, right? So that's kind of like what I'm thinking about here when I'm looking across these markets. It's like we don't really exceed that level unless it's this, and that's like COVID. That's like 2 weeks of just like hardcore selling, right? So that's kind of the way I'm seeing it right now. Could we push to the upside a little bit more? Perhaps, but this market seems to be reacting relatively well to 31.25. And when I say relatively well, I mean like a reduction in volatility, okay? And given the way that this market has been moving of recent times, 1, 2, 3, 3 bearish candles all in a row, probably see a bit of a push to the upside here, maybe into that area around there somewhere at least. Then we might see a bounce from 25 after that, perhaps, or we see the continuation back down to the downside into the bounce area there. When we get to the bounce area, perhaps we're up here somewhere, and maybe there's like a 4 hour or 1 hour trade from this area here. Maybe that resistance area, maybe a 75% alignment area that forms in there somewhere, and maybe that is the trade we're looking for, something like this right there. But yeah, I'm not a big fan of the 1 day SPX trade, personally. I'm not a big fan of this. Could we go deep? Yeah, we could go deep. We could get down to here for sure. I mean, that wouldn't be unreasonable. Only a 15% pullback from highs. No, wait, it's got to be more than that. Yeah, only 15%. Interesting. We could get there. I don't know if it happens right now, though. I think there's a bit of a breath is kind of taken a little bit from markets, I think. What do you think of pound yen 1 hour, Tom? Let me have a look. Long from here. Probably something like that. Alternatively, you got that there. Pretty choppy little market, isn't it? Pretty choppy. Very choppy. I mean, you got some things in your favor here. Number one is how well the market has reacted at that level before. Number two is you've got this area here where you could very likely push through to there and then pop back to the upside and get out at break even. So always thinking about how do I get out at break even on this market. This is not unreasonable. This is not unreasonable to push into that level there. So yeah, I think this is kind of reasonable. This is pretty good. Very similar to pound CAD, very similar to pound USD. So it's just a question of what is my preferred pound exposure in this case, because you've got pound yen, pound USD, and pound CAD. Pretty much all options for you. I kind of forgot what the price action looks like on the other ones. But this is kind of the toss-up that you're making here, really. Okay, yep. I think pound CAD still. You know, I probably like the idea of pound CAD the most out of the three. Obviously, pound CAD is a little bit further away from entries. Pound yen is a little bit closer. So, you know. But in general, I like the idea of this. That makes sense to be the next lower high. Maybe something similar to this price action right here, where we kind of formed this level here, pushed to the upside a little bit, then came back down, found some support down there. Right? Could be something similar here. Those two being very similar. Push to the downside here, just below. Find some support around previous structure, around previous structure, previous structure, previous structure. Push it onto the upside, right? That seems pretty reasonable to me. Again, we've got very nice reactions here from this market at that level. Very nice. Support, resistance, support here, support back over here as well. Seems like a pretty reasonable level on pound CAD. So I'd probably be looking at pound CAD as my preferred pound exposure on the 1 day time frame. What are your thoughts about Russia-Ukraine correlation to major markets? Well, I mean, there's a lot going on in markets at the moment. There's a lot going on from a macroeconomic perspective, but realistically, you know, the Russia-Ukraine side of things is really what is kind of driving emotion mostly at the moment. We had obviously Fed interest rates. We've got Russia-Ukraine. We've got you know, there's stuff going on in Canada as well, all sorts of things like that. So obviously, you know, this selling pressure is coming straight off the back of what's happening in Russia, Ukraine, along the border there. Obviously, troops been ordered into Ukraine. In my mind, the way that I see things, right, this is just the way that I look at all markets, especially big risk on markets like S&P 500. You have periods of like maximum uncertainty and maximum fear, and I feel like this is that period right now of maximum uncertainty and maximum fear. And now is when sanctions come. Now is when all these other things like economic sanctions come from basically everyone in the world, just sanctions the shit out of Russia essentially. That is probably going to lead to, you know, perhaps some sort of diplomacy, I'm not sure. But, you know, after so much fear, we tend to see a little bit of a bounce in markets typically, you know, to compensate for that fear. You know, there's the markets are just, you know, compensations of fear and greed. Okay, it's really compensating fear and greed, right? It's just like massive fear, massive greed, massive fear, massive greed, massive fear, massive greed, just over and over and over and over again. So when we see these periods of time where there's a lot of fear, typically, you know, this type of like certain things get priced into markets. Okay, and I think right now, like, it's fully priced in, just like a Russian invasion kind of thing is like completely priced in. And that's because of all of the fear that's been running around in markets. Yeah, there's financial sanctions coming from basically everybody. Financial sanctions will come from Australia, almost all of Europe. More fear could be on the table. I don't think there's more fear on the table until we take a little bit of a breath first. I think what happens here is markets rally a little bit probably, and then if it like really gets really serious, then we probably push down into down here, right? But you know, I think we see a rally first, most likely in markets. That's why I'm not a big fan of this entry right here, because from here it feels like the point of maximum fear kind of thing. So I could see a bit of a rally, and most likely, you know, there's going to be, like I said, as all of these sanctions and stuff like that happen, maybe the foot comes off the gas a little bit. Markets move to the upside a little bit here, and then if it like gets really serious, like full on, like pretty full on, then we push to the downside. But then, you know, in general, war is actually like good for markets. I mean, not good, but I don't want to say anything's, you know, war is good, but in general, markets rally in times of conflict, because it's a great excuse to print again. All right, you got to remember, like, markets are really driven by the printing press at the end of the day. Markets have been driven by the printing press since 2007. So, it's a very good excuse to print again if there's if there is conflict. So probably something like this here before a massive rally, if that printing press gets turned on again. That's the way I kind of see it, more or less. That's conflict scenario. And then no conflict scenario as we push back to the upside, and then we start talking about interest rates again. I think interest rate increases are more of a threat to the market than what conflict in Russia-Ukraine is. Yeah, interest rates going up are much more of a threat to the market. To the market, okay? I want to just say to the market. Sometimes in finance, it's very easy to forget about, you know, like, the real life scenario of what's happening out in the real world, and you're just thinking about what the market response is to certain things. But yeah, I think genuine interest rate increases is a much more of a threat. And the reason probably why that we haven't seen like much bigger dumps with basically like war more or less being on the table is because investors know that if there is conflict, then everything basically like gets paused in terms of the increase in interest rates. Probably printing press comes back on again, quantitative easing starts up again, bond buying programs, all sorts of stuff like that. Probably, you know, it's back on the table. That's why I probably haven't seen already the dump down to here somewhere, right? So yeah, that's my thoughts in general. Thanks for your thoughts. No worries, mate. No worries. Alrighty, guys, get in your final questions, and Andres, if you can find your other trades that you want to look at, then let me know. But yeah, final questions in, guys, and then I'll be signing off for the evening. So let me know your If you've got any other questions, chuck them in the chat and I'll jump on them ASAP, okay? Let's take a quick look at ETH here. ETH responding very well to 2,500 right now. Very well to 2,500. This extension area has been respected before in ETH, as we can see. But again, Bitcoin's going to lead what happens here. In general, we're going to see bigger rallies and bigger dumps in general for ETH. If you were in the funding program, what risk would you take per position? I would be taking, so I really like to trade I'd be following the 0.3% risk. I mean, that's not a rule. This is just like a recommendation, right? I'd be following the 0.3% risk on normal trading activities. And then if I was like very high conviction on something, I'd probably risk up a little bit. If I was taking like S&P 500 trade where I was like very high conviction about that trade, I'd probably risk up a little bit on that. 0.5, something like this. Yeah, if I had a lot of conviction in a certain position. Then I'd probably risk up a little bit. Probably like around extension areas, stuff like that. High conviction position on a market that I know well. I'd probably risk up. Let's take a look at PK. Last one from me tonight. Any thoughts about crude oil 4-hour one day? Just like absolutely ripping, isn't it? Here, it's been a roller coaster ride for crude oil, hey? Real roller coaster ride for crude oil. I remember this. This is when oil futures went negative back here. In yeah, like, oh, was it here? When did oil futures go negative? Was it around there? I don't remember actually completely. But yeah, oil futures went negative at some stage here. Maybe not there. Perhaps somewhere else. But it has been an absolute roller coaster ride for oil. Pushing to the upside here now. You know, again, this is what I mean about, you know, conflict being a positive thing for some markets. Gold, oil, things like that. So let me look at 1 day. I don't see any tradable areas here on the 1 day time frame. Four-hour time frame, I mean, yeah, probably around here somewhere, perhaps that's a trade. I'd probably say that's like a nice buying opportunity for oil. Like, given what's happening at the moment, that's probably a good buying opportunity right there at 87.5. This is the type of position where it's like something like this here. Yes, I've seen that one on YouTube. I actually got fully liquidated. I liquidated a whole account on that. I liquidated my whole account on that oil situation. So this is the type of position that I might even like leverage up a little bit here in this type of thing here at 87,500 on oil, like with this type of price action where it's just like absolutely like just ripping to the upside. We've got just basically like, let's call that the mean of this market right now. we deviate from that mean hard enough down to here to trade it back up to there. I'd be pretty confident with that type of trade. Alrighty, guys. I'm going to sign off. Thank you so much for attending, guys. Hazza, PK, Tommy, Nick, Andres. Who else we got in here? Steve, Martin, Josh. Thank you, everybody, for contributing to the chat. I appreciate it a lot. Hopefully I didn't miss anybody. And anyone else who's watching and didn't ask a question, thank you for watching. I appreciate it very much. Throw a like, smash the like button as you leave, please, guys. And I'll chat with you all soon. Have a fantastic rest of your trading week. And yeah, manage your risk appropriately. Talk to you soon, guys.